had a life where you've been up close, like you say, with people who've been suffering a great deal. And I've been, I've seen interviews and some people in real life, not a lot, but people suffering from addictions and just terrible abusive marriages and things like that. And it must wear on you. But how is it that even in the midst of these circumstances, what preserves your optimism? Why do you still choose faith and not agnosticism at the end of the day? Because it's not like you're a person who just goes on autopilot and says, well, I was a Christian from here, and I'm never going to have to worry about thinking about it again. I mean, clearly you engage in this conversation all the time with people, an unbelievable extent. So what keeps the faith turned on?
I don't think I could live without it. Because what's the alternative story? I mean, how many people are buried in the Great Wall of China? I mean, these people grew up on a little farm somewhere, and they were grabbed by some soldiers and made to work on some wall, and they were worked until they died of exhaustion, and they just were buried in the wall. And that story plays out throughout this world. And and so part of my father actually did, after he retired, he wrote a little bit of a memoir, which is it's not a terribly well written book, but it's just full of stories from his childhood, and then from Patterson and from all of that. But so yesterday I put my friend in jail, and after jail, the reason I put him in jail was there was a restraining order against him here.
Yeah.
Because he had attacked a member of the church, and so he's not supposed to be here. And so because he's not here, I have new homeless people to deal with, because the ecosystem niche is just here. And
there's a vacancy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I came Monday morning here early, and there was a hot plate plugged into an outside outlet, and okay, I know somebody's here, and the gate was open, and I walk in, and there's a man and the woman, and I said, okay. And they know the drill. So he just pops up and gathers his things, and he was the guy who had the hot plate and took off. And that way I knew they weren't a couple. And she babbled rather randomly, led me to believe she's likely schizoaffective or schizophrenic. She's wearing the clothing of a prostitute. And so then, I usher her off as well. And these are just two individuals in this world. Mm-hmm. Well, how are we going to regard them? Are they fodder? Are they worthless? In all of my experience, nobody comes into this world hatched or spawned. Both of them had mothers and fathers. Were they loved? Were they cared for? They might still be. It could be that, and in my experience, many of the homeless people around me have families who are living in homes, often with empty rooms. And the reason these people are not in those empty rooms in the house is because of one reason or another, whether it be mental illness or substance abuse or personality patterns or whatnot. They can't get along. And so now these people have been reduced to turning tricks. I have a little camera set up, and somebody had made a delivery, probably the guy's drug dealer, turning tricks and buying drugs and trying to do it in an unknown corner of an insignificant church someplace. None of us want this for our fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters, children. None of us want this. At least most of us don't want this. What are we going to think about a world like this? And if, leave it to the atheist that would say, well, Paul, you only believe this happy story because it helps, it bears you up. And I say, guilty as charged, because tell me your story, and I'll tell you, if your story is true, why should I bother being decent to any of these people? Why don't I abuse them too and get what I want out of them? Out of pride, because I want to be thought of as a good person? No, I need to know that all of the suffering of this world is not in vain. And then when I look at people like my father and my grandfather and my mother and my grandmother and how many other, you know, saints and half saints and quarter saints that I've known all my life who have, you know, in one way or another poured themselves out for people who didn't deserve it, that sacrifice also won't be recognized, respected, and somehow made right. And so, yes, it's hard to know that my homeless friend who will I have a pretty good idea how he's going to die. I've seen it for my whole life. He's going to get hit by a car. He's going to OD. He's going to at some point die of exposure. He's going to get, you know, some form of hepatitis or AIDS or COVID or something, and even if he's swooped up by someone, he's going to spend the rest of his life in a nursing home smelling like urine. I know this. But I have been raised intergenerationally to believe that there is a God who sees and knows and cares. And the reason for that is because that God himself would become our victim and not hold it against us. And so, even though I'll tell you, when you come in on a Monday morning with your pastor Sunday hangover because you exerted all that adrenaline on Sunday, so Monday morning you're feeling a little grouchy and not like wanting to go to work, and you see these homeless people, you know, I didn't have a lot of patience with them. I was a little frustrated they were there, but then
Yeah.
I heard the woman mumble something and I thought she said restroom. So, okay, I opened the bathroom. It said, "Do you need to use the bathroom?" And then she didn't use the bathroom. She kept on talking. But it's that's why we treat each other as if we're image bearers of God. And and so no, to people think that because of all this I shouldn't believe the gospel. No, I believe the gospel because all of this. And if the gospel isn't true, and people don't believe me when I say this, but I know myself inside, I have the capacity in me to be a person you don't want to know. I think each of us have that.
Yeah.
And so I will treat this person with respect, and I will do it because I want to believe that God will somehow make all of this right. And I don't know how, but I believe that. And so every time I help someone who doesn't deserve any help, I reinforce that in myself, that God cares about this person and I should too.